So the previous episode I did around how my army was going, I mentioned that I was going to be playing some games, going to a games club. So that was yesterday. I went to a gaming club and played some games, and I thought in this episode I'd tell you how I went, how I found it, how it went, and kind of lessons learned. So this is the army I took. You can see there are some unpainted models, kind of stand-ins, and also my marauder giant came along for the ride as well. And I borrowed some snotlings off my son. So yeah, so the the intention here is to kind of let you know how it went. So this was the 1250 point army that 1250, yeah, that's right, 1250 points that made the other day. And so I ended up playing against an Empire army um, and a Dwarf army. So I didn't take any videos of it. My primary purpose was to learn how to play the rules. The first game was against someone I've not met before. We were playing in a gaming club, so it was quite crowded and noisy, so not really appropriate setting for like recording videos or anything. But did manage to get a few photos. But again, it wasn't my primary kind of purpose. But what I did get, I'll show you and talk through and just kind of give you a bit of a rundown on how it went and what went well and what kind of lessons learnt. The first thing to say is it was awesome. I absolutely loved it. I enjoyed both games. Um, yeah, it was just a really good fun couple of games. I'm not sure if that is just because it's awesome to play Warhammer, or because the new rule set was particularly good. I don't know if I could say either way at this point, but the fact that I really enjoyed it means that the rule set clearly is fun and fine to use. So either way, it was really good. So let me just give you a quick rundown of what we've got in the army here. So um, this is Grincrack. He was my general. He literally just had a great weapon, basically. He's probably got light armor and shield, something like that. Unit of 25, well, 24 spearmen, 25 including him, with nets and 3 fanatics. Unit of 10 bowmen with nothing but bows. 2 stone trolls, a level 4 shaman, 3 bases of snotlings, a giant, 7 squig hoppers, a level 2 shaman, and then 2 war bosses on giant cave squigs, one with a spear, one with Wallopers one hit wonder, waving it around like that. So yeah, so I think actually on army composition wise, it was pretty good. But let me kind of talk you through the what I've got of the games. So there's a few like I say, I don't have many photos. This was probably about turn 3, I think. Um, Turn 2 or 3, yeah, when my giant had got to this position. Now I put this one on a post this morning, um, and you can just about see here in really bad resolution. That is an organ gun, not an organ gun, a Hellblaster volley gun. So the giant spent a turn hiding behind this building, um, kind of yeah, about standing about here, and then moved up and over here. Behind this tower was a unit of knights that was coming round from this. So his deployment zone was that end, and I was this side. So they'd come round this side. So the first couple of turns, the giant was this side, kind of preventing the knights from advancing really. Um, and when they kind of looked like they weren't going to do anything more, I kind of moved him around here. He wanted something fun to do, so he thought he'd go play with some squishy swordsmen, which he did. It was very very cool. The swordsman turned to face him, and then he just ran out and shouted boo at them or yelled and bawled at them or whatever, and they ran away because they failed their terror test. But they didn't run far enough, and he caught up with them and squished them all. So that was excellent. I really approved of that. So the giant did a really good job. This was a primary combat. So there's the village that the giant's hiding in. Just in the background, you can see there's the unit of swordsmen that he was looking at. So he's like behind this house here, looking out at them. So my deployment zone was here, and you can just see my unit of 25 spearmen is there behind the trees. The trolls are there. Now, he had this unit of demigryph knights which deployed on this flank, and then this woods, and there was like a hill over here, and so they were moving kind of round. The first turn they ended about here, and then they could go either way around the forest, this way or this way. My squig hoppers. Now, squig hoppers. So I put the two war bosses inside the unit, because that way they'd roll, because they roll a random movement, they'd all roll together and move at the same time, so it makes it much easier to coordinate. So squig hoppers are interesting because in the previous edition that I remember playing with them, I haven't played with them much, but in previous edition, from what I recall, you had to nominate a direction first and then roll your dice to see how far you went. In this edition, from what I see, and someone tell me if we were playing it wrong, but it looks like you roll your movement and then you just move wherever you want to move. And it feels, I don't know, it feels like uh, it feels a bit wrong, and maybe we were playing it wrong, because I'm not quite sure how that works with charging. Um, but yeah, it just seems like you can roll your movement and then just pick whichever direction you want to go. It does feel wrong, so maybe we were doing it wrong. But essentially, I rolled my dice. I got like 13. I did get 13 inches. So they started back here, and I was like, oh, I could move them into the woods, but then I knew they'd get charged by these guys. So I moved them right out to the table, like on the edge of the table. And the reason I was able to do that is because I knew how far they could move in advance. And then moved my snotlings up into the woods to kind of bait the riders. I had obviously I've got three bases of snotlings. What I realised, snotlings have got 6 wounds and are unbreakable. So to do 18 wounds, you need a lot of attacks. Now I don't know how many attacks um, demigryph riders have got. I've never played against them before, but 18 would, like, they'd have to have 6 attacks each basically on the models. And like a knight is just a human, so he's probably only got 1 or 2. And the demigryph's probably got like 3. So I figured the snotlings probably wouldn't die. And as long as they had at least 1 wound left, they would hold. Well, because they're unbreakable, they just move back the 2 inches, which would then let my squigs charge in from the side. And that's exactly what happened. Is they didn't manage to kill them all, so because they're unbreakable, they just moved back 2 inches. And then the next turn, my squigs rolled enough. I can't remember how much it was, but they didn't need too much to be able to come in. And he couldn't charge the squigs because either they were out of range. I think he had to wheel through this wood in order to charge them, and you take like the lowest dice. So he didn't have the range to wouldn't have had the range to get to the squig. So I knew I was pretty safe, and I was hoping that he'd charge in to the snotlings, which he did. And I guess he thought they were squishier than they were, which is understandable because snotlings do look pretty squishy. And as you can see, my son's only got 4 snotlings on a base, and they've got six wounds on a base now. Like in 6th and 7th edition, they were like, one edition they had 3 wounds, one edition they had 4 wounds. I don't remember how many they had in 8th. I didn't play 8th. But yeah, so they've gone from like being 3 wounds, 4 wounds a base to 6 wounds a base, which is ridiculous. So snotlings are excellent. I will definitely be making up some snotlings soon for my army because they're just wonderful. Like a unit of 3 is 18 wounds, which is really hard for anything to dish out 18 wounds. So you can basically just put 3 snotling bases in front of anything to take a charge, and they're probably going to survive and allow you to countercharge. So that's my top tip for um, orcs and goblins is snotlings are perfect for taking charges and baiting the enemy. So there you go. If you're an orc and goblin player, do that. If you're not an orc and goblin player, forget I said anything. Snotlings are squishy. You should definitely charge your harder stuff into them. The other thing was these guys, the giant cave squigs. I'm trying to remember if the normal cave squigs have them as well. I think they do have. Do they have killing blow? I can't remember. These guys definitely have killing blow, and they all have impact hits. I mean, so squigs, these are this is a ridiculously good unit. Um, I think if the movement is right and we are playing the movement right, then they're incredible. Because like you don't have to declare your charges. You can just roll to see what you move them to wherever you want. If it's enough to charge, fine, move it into charge. If it's not enough to charge, move them to the side. They're skirmishers, so they can basically go wherever they want. So move them to the side, and then if you get enough to charge, great, charge in. And if you don't, move them somewhere else. I mean, that's got to be wrong. We've got to be playing something wrong. But if we're not playing it wrong, then they are incredible. Plus, they all get impact hits. These guys get impact hits. The big guys get D3 impact hits. They're all strength 5 with, I think they've got AP1. They've got Armor Bane. I can't remember if they've got AP1 actually. They've all got Armor Bane 1. But the big guys for sure have got Killing Blow. Killing Blow and Armor Bane 1 is a bit weird because like both trigger on a 6 to wound. And if you've got Killing Blow, you don't need Armor Bane. Unless you've got something that makes you immune to Killing Blow. That's what my opponent suggested, which may be right. But other than that kind of niche situation, there's no point in having Killing Blow and Armor Bane from what I can see. So yeah, so these guys, D3 impact hits at strength 5. These guys getting impact hits at strength 5, which is so cool. And then they've got the squigs have got 3 attacks each at strength 5 with Killing Blow. So this combat, this guy with Walloper's one hit wonder, he was touching corner to corner. So he used Walloper's one hit wonder. That was his turn, but it was the right opponent, and he killed a guy. Because 3 strength 10 attacks. So he managed to kill that guy with AP4. So he was getting basically no armor save. I can't remember if he did. Might have got 6. But either way, he died. So he killed the first guy. And then these two with their Killing Blow, because they're monstrous infantry. Killing Blow works on monstrous cavalry. Killing Blow works on monstrous cavalry. And the squigs just gulped the other guys down as well. They just like Killing Blowed them, and it was ridiculous. So yeah, it was excellent. I was very very pleased with that. So yeah, I think the next photo is them dead. There we go. So they died. The main reason I've got this photo is because you can kind of see the rest of the lay of the land. So there you go. There's my spearmen over there. But yeah, so that was excellent, and they then overran like into the middle, and the Slings overran as well. But that was very cool. I was super chuffed with them. So they did really well. So what you've got over here, you can just about see the knights coming around the tower. Barely see it on my crappy photo. You've got my wizard there. This wizard at the level 2 was picking off a knight every turn with the glare. Number 1 on the Orc and Goblin on the War magic. So he was like zapping one knight. It's a strength 7 hit with D3 wounds. Obviously knights only have 1 wound, so it was like just killing one knight a turn, but it was pretty consistent. So I managed to take out like 3 knights during the game, just doing that every turn. And then this shaman has just cast Foot of Gork, so that was Gork kind of doing some stomping just there in the middle, because I wanted to protect from, because this unit was going to start advancing around, and I wanted to kind of put them off doing that. He moved his organ gun, volley gun forwards to try and get in range, because my guys were hanging back. This unit, so this unit just here, I've decided is kind of my command unit. So this guy at leadership 6 with his 3 ranks makes him leadership 9. So everything within the kind of the bubble, so within 12 inches of him, gets leadership 9, and that's just so good. So the 2 trolls there, actually they were stupid that I rolled like 11, and they just wandered forwards and bumped into the back of the snotting soups. But yeah, so I've decided that that's the way to play play this unit with my general in, is as like a command unit. So they've got 12 inches either side. That's like a 2-foot bubble of leadership 9. I should probably get a battle standard bearer in there as well to give the rerolls on stuff. So I think that's probably how I'll play my spearman unit. They don't need to like be doing any damage, so they probably don't need nets, to be honest. But yeah, so that was their job, was to give everything good leadership. So yeah, so he had there's a unit that's the Demigryph Knights over there, they're dead. He had a unit of 5 handgunners, a detachment, and a he had a wizard, a level 2 wizard with the Reviewing of Fury. Fireball is excellent. So my unit of 10 archers started the game here, and like his first turn, he just like fireballed them and killed all of them apart from 2. They didn't run away because they had the leadership 9 unit next to them, but there were 2 archers. So like my turn 1, I was like, oh great, that's how this game's gonna go. I thought I was just gonna die because did he have? Yeah, I think he had first turn. So just like immolated my unit. Um, so yeah, and then you had this unit of spearmen, unit of halberdiers, with a volley gun in. But because I stayed out of range, and these guys were way around here, he had to move his volley gun forwards, and they got another unit of 5 handgunners as a detachment. Um, so yeah, so that was turn 2. That was my turn 2. Um, because the squigs moved over here first and then charged in the next turn. So there we go. So this was after the giant has chased the the swordsman down and like squished them all under his feet. He's taken some wounds from something. Oh, I think he got. Did he get a fireball? Yeah, I think he got fireballed. Fireball's a really, really good spell. 2d6 strength 4 hits. When you compare that with the spell that this guy got, which was 1 strength 7 hit, um, then yeah, 2d6 strength 5 hits is just incredible. Strength 5 hits, strength 4 hits. The engineers. Oh yes, so something that happened. The Hellblaster volley gun is gone. I can't remember what it tried to shoot at. Probably the spearmen. Um, no, it was gonna shoot at the squigs. That's right. So he was gonna shoot the squigs. He rolled a misfire. Then he used his engineer to re-roll it. Rolled another misfire. And you have to roll for all 3 barrels. Barrels, from what I understand. He then rolled a 2 for the next barrel and a misfire for the third barrel. And he ended up just blowing it up. And that was I felt really bad for him because he'd only just bought it, and that was its first game. But yeah, so I mean, it's the curse of the shiny new model. But yeah, so it blew up. So clearly, I was very happy about that. But yeah, so that was because that had dominated the entire center of the table, or controlled it, should I say? Hadn't actually didn't kill anything. That was his first attempt at shooting. But I was too scared to go anywhere near the center of the table. So you can see here, it's just empty because I just didn't want to get anything near that. And like I say, these overran, so we're suddenly in range, and that's when they started hurriedly loading it up and trying to shoot the squig hoppers. But yeah, so it blew up, and you can see my squig hoppers are there now. So this is the turn. So they overran to about here. Then I rolled their random movement. It wasn't enough to get into here, so I moved them round the side, ready to kind of charge the next time. Um, so yeah, I'll have to do a bit more reading up about the squigs just to see if there was something we were doing wrong, because the random movement, I don't know, maybe you should be declaring charges with your random movement. I've got no idea. So I need to look that up. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I do need to look that up and find that out because it's got to be wrong. We've got to be playing it wrong. So that was that turn. And then, so this is, I think this is the same turn just for looking. No, this must be his turn now, actually. Yeah, so my squigs have moved up, and the giants chased them down. So the knights finally rounded that corner. My wizards kind of moved to about here, out of their line of sight. And uh, yeah, I've released the fanatics. So the fanatics are just about to go into his knights. So I think this was his turn. This is the beginning of his turn. Yeah, that's right. And I'm releasing my fanatics. Um, and the foot of Gork has migrated a little bit. When it was there and all of his stuff was gone, it was basically close to all of my stuff and none of his. But yeah, so the fanatics came out and didn't do anything. They ended like, oh, they did. They killed the bowmen. They ended like there, and one was there, something like that. I can't remember. They were basically just scattered around in front of the knights, but that was good because it deterred them from charging my spearman unit. which was the intention. Um, then we've got the squigs had charged in, and the giant charged into the unit of halberdiers that was standing there. In fact, the squigs charged the handgunners first. The giant charged the halberdiers. The squigs finished off yeah, completely destroyed the handgunners and overran into that unit, which meant they got to be part of that combat when that was fought. So they got to fight, and they just decimated. They did so many wounds that there were 5 guys left. I think yes, there were 5 guys left, and then I think it was like when he did his stomp attack or something. We had to like assign one to that guy, and so at the end of the combat, it was a full unit, like this full unit or this full unit. One of these units, we killed them down to a man, and one took 1 wound off his battle standard. So every single thing like died, and then the standard ran away, and they chased him. He promptly rallied, but yeah, so there we go, and the engineer ran away. So that was great. Smashed through another unit. These guys are just like the giant has now been part of killing 2 units. These have killed like 3 units. Super good. And that was the end of that game. Um, the knights. Let's go back to the knights. One of the fanatics ended up moving through the knights, killing a knight, and Gork ended up stomping on the unit and just like kicking a knight in the face. So yeah, so there were like 3 guys left by the end of the game, and yeah, we decided to call it there. My opponent conceded, which is fair. But yeah, that was an excellent game. Really enjoyed it. Obviously, I won, but I feel like I definitely did some good tactics. However, I need to check up on the rules for Squigs. I might like check on the Facebook chat and see what people think. But yes, there we go. I think I just need to read the rules again. I'm thinking there's got to be something around charging, like declaring charges, or I don't know. I'll have to have a look and see the exact kind of order of events for when squigs move with their random movement and how it works. So yeah, so there we go. This was the second game. My opponent, we did the placement of terrain where we picked a piece of terrain and plonked it down. I put the village right in the center of the board. He put the hill there, and with the hope that like there's a 50-50 chance that he'd get it or I get it. If I got it, it didn't matter because I didn't have any artillery, and if he got it, he got to shovel his artillery on it. So he did. And we were like when we were first looking at the organ gun rules, organ guns now, they've basically doubled their range from when I last used them because they were like 18 inches previously. They've doubled the amount of artillery dice you get to roll, so it's 2 artillery dice instead of 1. And you have to roll 2 misfires for them to misfire. So they kind of, it looked like they had just become seriously overpowered. But then as we started playing, we realized you have to roll to hit with them. So you generate the number of hits, and then you have to roll to hit, which you didn't have to do before. Or certainly when I used them last, you just rolled the artillery dice, and that was how many guys had been hit. Now you have to roll to hit, and you get modifiers for long range, modifiers for cover. So it turned out most of the time he was hitting on 6s anyway. But the so there was 2 sides to it. One, he was doing a lot less actual hits, whereas previously you'd roll the dice and you get somewhere between 2 and 10 just automatic hits. Now you get between 4 and 20 shots, but because it's really hard to hit unless you're in short range and then you're hitting on 4s, which I guess essentially if you're within 15 inches and you're hitting on 4s, then that's more or less back to what it used to be. So it's probably slightly weaker on average, but it's got more potential because it can shoot 30 inches now and it can shoot 20 shots. So the potential is there to do massive devastation, but the reality is more than likely it's not going to do as much as it used to. So it's a little less consistent than it used to be, which is in keeping with the the dwarf kind of lore because these are a newer type of weapon. They're yeah, and considering we're now like 200 years earlier than it was previously, they're a much newer invention. than obviously the cannons and stuff. Um, so yeah, they've got more potential. On average, we found them to be weaker. I was like really scared about them. Didn't need to be as scared as I was. Um, the Rangers, now Rangers are awesome because Rangers can skirmish. I don't remember them ever being able to skirmish before, or certainly not in the rule sets I played. So he had 20 skirmishing Rangers. We just left them on that base because it was easier. But yeah, so they scouted into the wood. So this wood, my deployment zone is like right here. So they scouted into the wood. Now in this game, because he had all these war machines on the hill, so this wood is over here. Um, because he had all these war machines on this hill and this unit of hand, he had 2 units of handgunners, all these war machines. The Rangers have got crossbows. The only combat unit, I say the only combat unit, the Rangers are a combat unit, but the only other combat unit was the unit of Ironbreakers, which ended up plunking here. Um, but Rangers, yeah, can skirmish. But few things for that. They're obviously they can see in any direction when they're skirmishing, which is excellent because it means they can just charge whichever direction they want, and they are hardcore because they gave them all great weapons. Um, and they all come with crossbows. Now, previously, when you rank them up 5 by 4 in a unit of 20, only the front 5 guys could shoot their crossbows, and most of the time they wouldn't because they were too busy moving. Now they skirmish, so all 20 guys can shoot their crossbows, which is ridiculous. Um, yeah, and 360 line of sight. And they can move through cover, so they don't get any penalty for moving through the woods as well. So these guys were ridiculous. So I'd separated my squigs into 3 separate units, thinking I was going to run around the side and then like try picking off war machines with them. But these guys scouted, so they deployed at the end, and he just plonked them down there. So I've got these 3 units and the giant kind of on this flank, planning to use because the cannons and stuff were all over there. So I'm hiding behind the woods, planning to come around the woods and attack the flank. But yeah, by plonking them there, they got right in the way. So my first unit of squig hoppers um, had enough to charge into combat, but these two didn't roll enough. So it was just them on their own. They killed a couple, but then they were just like um, he managed to win the combat basically, and they ran away. Um, and then the next turn, so he pursued them, and because he had 360 line of sight, he just then turned around and charged into this guy, which he then either killed, I think he killed him, or made him run away, because they're skirmishers, you can get a massive line out, so like increased his frontage, and they've all got great weapons, so they just hacked him apart, which made this guy run away, so he ran away as well, and then they overran into the giant. Now they were in the front of the giant just because majority of the unit was in the front. But still, that was deal with those guys, overrun into him, kill him, make that guy run away because they're leadership 6. My spearmen were far like on the other side of the table, and then run into the giant. Those guys just like were men of the match for him. They're amazing. So I always love Rangers. Now I'm loving them even more. So there you go, Rangers for dwarves, excellent. I love the Rangers. So there we go. Something I did forget this game was I completely forgot that my giant had stomp attacks, and every turn he was like killing 1 or 2 guys, but he would have been having an extra D6 strength, 6 hits that I was completely forgetting to use. So that was a lesson learned. So he might have killed him, but they spent a few rounds. They actually killed him actually. So after like 2 or 3 rounds, they felled the giant. He did fall on them and squish a few, which was a little bit satisfying at least. And then the other cool thing that happened was there was a just about, I don't know, 6 inches in front of these dwarves, maybe 8 inches. There's a fence. So the village is here, and there was a fence coming out of the village. My spearman unit ran up to the fence whilst being shot by the organ gun. Ran up to the fence and then just lobbed the fanatics over the fence. So with fanatics, you place them within 3 inches of the unit because the unit throws them out of the unit, so they can avoid like some obstacles. So they lob them over the fence because normally they'd like smash through the fence and die, but they lob them over the fence and then uh, well, these two smashed through the unit and killed a quarter of the unit, and this one kind of stood there, which meant kind of prevented him from charging next turn. Um, so yeah, so these guys did awesome, and yeah, it was just kind of a cool moment as they run up to the fence and lob the lob the fanatics over. So that was great. We ran out of time. It was getting late, and so we played like three turns. But again, that was another really good game. We learned a lot, learned a bunch of stuff, and was just lots of fun. So my takeaways uh, are um, I need to check I'm sure we were using the squig hoppers wrong. I feel like I probably should have been declaring charges and then rolling. Um, so I'll have to do some reading in the rules to recheck that. If I was using them right, then they are excellent. If I was using them wrong, they're probably still pretty good. Um, so I think one of the next things I'm going to do is have some squigs in my army. I will definitely be getting some snotlings. Um, so you know what? Let's have a look at that now. Actually, I was going to do it as a separate episode, but I think it probably won't take too long. So let's have a look at this. So Ed Splitter's Boys. This was my 1250 points. I think I'm just going to up this. Let's duplicate this one. Um, no, actually, let's not. Let's duplicate this one because I'm going to keep most of it. Duplicate that to make it 1,000 points. Copy of a copy of Ed Splitter's Voice. Why not? You know what that means, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do. I wasn't that impressed with the shamans. Um, either I don't, I haven't seen the benefits of the spell. So I managed to roll every single spell. Between the level 2 and the level 4, they had they had every spell. Um, the number 1 spell that's strength 7, no armor saves, D3 wounds. That's all right. You can pick a knight off a turn as he was doing. In the second game, he managed to kill an organ gun with it. So I think that's like its primary use, and that was all right. Um, Most of the other stuff was a bit meh, and having to get your shamans in range to use them, I think was a bit tough because they don't seem like they've got particularly long range. Obviously, Foot of Gork is fun, but I only killed one knight with it. But it's kind of a deterrent, creates dangerous terrain, so I see that as kind of its primary use, a little bit of board control really, and the fact that they can't dispel it unless they're in range of your wizard was good. Um, but other than those two spells, the other spells are a bit meh. Even I didn't really have any situations. So in the second game, I took both signature spells from the goblin list. I can't even remember what both of them did, but there wasn't much opportunity to use them, I don't think. Um, so yeah, that's what I struggled with, having the opportunity to use them. So maybe the spells are fine, but either my wizards weren't in the right place, they were out of range, or the situations that they would have been useful just didn't come up. So they were a bit meh. Um, so maybe I try a different spell list, but I'm not sure I need a level 4 and a level 2. But I've only played one game. The bowmen did nothing either game. So I think let's get rid of the bowmen. Not goblin mob, bowmen, remove, gone. Um, the trolls actually didn't do anything, but I don't think I used them particularly well in either game. So I don't think that's the trolls' fault. Plus, I've put a lot of effort into painting them, so I can stay. I may even bring the bowmen back if I need to. Squig hoppers, excellent. I loved squig hoppers. The giant was cool. But the only giant that I've got is this guy, and I kind of want to make him for my savage army. So at some point, I'll be doing a savage orc army with savage orcs and forest goblins and stuff like that. And I kind of want him for that army. Just feel like the dragon head that he's. Oh, I've got too much stuff in the way. Um, yeah, the head with like the dragon head. Just feel like he looks like a savage orc type giant. Right, there's too much stuff down here. So yeah, I feel like he looks like a savage giant. So that's my plan for him. I don't really want to use him for my night goblins. Um, So he won't be. Maybe I'll pick up a giant at some point to go in the army. I do like the giant. Um, However, I do want to try Mangler Squigs. You can't see that, but Mangler Squigs. Okay, so I wanna have some Mangler Squigs. So I think I'll probably replace the giant with some Mangler Squigs. So let's take him out. So what I want to do is the next 1,000 points for my army. And don't get me wrong, the giant was awesome. I'd recommend a giant if you want to take a giant. Take a giant. Mangler Squigs. There we go. What rules do they have? Hmm. Interestingly, they don't have Killing Blow, which is weird, considering the others, like the giant squigs, do have Killing Blow. So what have they got? Close Order, weird. Immune Psychology, cool. They're not unbreakable though. They do have D6 impact hits. I'm not sure what strength they are. Curse Splat. What does Curse Splat do? Okay, fine. Dangerous terrain for everything. Large target, random attacks. With D3 plus one. Oh, for example. Okay, fine. I don't have any random movement. Spike. What does random movement actually say? Do not have them on blah blah blah. They cannot march or declare a charge. Yeah, see, there you go. That was the thing. They can't declare a charge. They move during compulsory moves phase. They cannot march or declare a charge. So, I think I was using the squigs right. So you don't have to declare charges. You just roll and then you move. If the model is able to make contact with an enemy during the compulsory move subphase or whilst pursuing, it may do so and counts as having charge. That's ridiculous because it gives you so much flexibility and you can make sure you never fail a charge and end up in a position where you're in a failed kind of vulnerable space. Squigs are amazing. There you go. I'm just putting that out there now. Squigs are as good as I thought they were. Um, that's so cool. Okay, so squigs. We're basically gonna have lots and lots of squigs. That that is that's okay. So that's given me a bit of a theme for the next portion of my army. So this is Grincrack's warband. He has got uh, spearmen, troll, shaman. He's got bowmen. Fine. I guess I should keep the bowmen because they're part of his warband. Um, and I think we need to recruit the next warband, which is probably going to be Walloper with his one-hit wonder. So yeah, this should be Walloper's warband. So that's what we're going to do. And he's got a squig warband, so he will come with a mangler squig. He'll come with his mate, I guess. Um, that's where we're going, and we'll probably throw in some snottings as well. So we'll say goodbye to the giant. We will have some mangler squigs instead of the giant. So we've got mangler squigs. I've only got one. I will probably get, well, we'll see how they go. I may get some more. Also, I really want to try turn in two. So there's two different like ways you can make them up. So these guys here don't have like armor and stuff on, but you got this guy who looks kind of boss-like. So I like that. And the guy on top actually looks kind of like boss-like as well. And you got him who's meant to be a boss on top. And then there's two ways that you can do the squig with like these armor plates. So what I'm tempted to do is try and turn these into two more war bosses because I just love them. I think a couple of reasons for that. One, I wanted to do it just because I like the idea of I like converting stuff, and I just saw those and thought they'd look like great Warboss squigs on Warboss on giant squigs. So that was the key reason. But now that I've found they're awesome, that's even more incentive. So I'll probably be buying a couple more sets of Mangler squigs to make it. Well, it depends on how good the Mangler squigs are actually. I'll probably be buying one more set of Mangler squigs at some point to turn into two war bosses. And if Mangler squigs are actually good, then I may get another set of Mangler squigs so I can make both different variants. So all that to say, I want Mangler squigs. I think the level 4 wizard is optional, um, or the level 2. One of them is optional. I don't think I need both. What does elemental magic have? D6 plus 1 strength 3 hits. That's fine. Flaming sword. Oh wait, that's a. Oh no, don't want that. Am I never going to be in combat? Um, Plague of Rust. Oh, -2 to Yeah, that's pretty sweet. That's very good. Elemental Spirit, a small magical vortex, dangerous terrain, no line of sight can be drawn. Oh, okay, cool. D6 in a random direction, moving D3 plus 3 strength 4 hits. Yeah, that's all right. Earthen Ramparts. Oh, okay, so this is Earthen Ramparts. Interesting. 5 plus ward save. Can't march or charge. So my opponent, the Empire opponent, gave that to his what's it unit? The Knights unit. But that was a mistake because he didn't realize he couldn't march with them because he tried marching and was like, wait, didn't you just say you couldn't march? So yeah, so that's why the Knights took a little bit longer. Wind Blast D3 plus 3 strength 5 hits. Yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah, that's very good actually. Pushing back a bit on it. Travel Mystical Pathway. Ooh, I like the sound of this. Blah 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 blah. 12 inches original location, but not within 6 inches of any. Yeah, that's all right. But yeah, I'm the spells that they've got access to. I don't really rate. Oh, here we go. Let's have a look. See what we had. So we had. Oh no, this is the orc ones. Oh yeah. Wait, what's that? Assailment. Yeah, I mean my wizards, the goblin wizards, are never going to get in combat. If they're in combat, they're dead basically. So then I'm not going to be doing that one. Vindictive Glare. So strength 7 hit, D3 wounds, no armor save. So that's all right for picking off. It's pretty good for war machines actually. Strength 7 means you're like 50-50 chance to damage a war machine, and D3 wounds is pretty good. So that's a good kind of war machine killer. And knights and I guess giants as well. Um, Hand of Gork. Uh, that was all right. I kind of had visions, dreams of moving one of these guys somewhere I wanted it. Um, but yeah, so something else I realized is because these guys move in the compulsory movement phase, they can never choose to join or leave a unit of squigs. If you start in a unit, you're in the unit. If you don't start in the unit, you can't join the unit because you can only join in the remaining moves phase and they don't move in the remaining moves phase. However, this would be a way of taking one of these guys out of the unit if I wanted to. So you can remove a friendly character from the battle and replace it anywhere within 2d6s of its original location. Um, so that could be useful. Also could like ping them over towards a war machine or something like that. So that could be cool. This one, end of turn, the enemy unit suffers minus D3 modifier to weapon skill and initiative. Meh, it's alright, but most of my stuff doesn't really care too much. I don't know. It's only got a 15-inch range. The wizards tended to be like particularly far behind these guys, and these were just not getting into combat. So at the moment, I don't think my army is really built for that particularly usefully. Evil Sun Shining, reroll to hits of natural one. I don't know if that is um, combat or shooting. Maybe it's both. So that's got potential. I mean, these guys, they weren't really going to hit anything anyway. Improve the armor piercing characteristics. I mean, that's quite cool. Yeah, it kind of gives them hatred, doesn't it? Natural will and improve. So that's all right. That's good for fighting. Um, and here we go. Plus D3 charge roll. Well, these guys certainly weren't using it. They weren't charging at anything. So limited again. Uh, Increases maximum possible charge range by 3 inches and D3. It's all right. And then Foot of Gork is just cool. So meh. I don't know. I'm just not feeling particularly um, impressed by the options, which is sad because I used to love. I used to have loads of shamans. There used to be loads of really good spells for orcs and goblins. But yeah, I'm not particularly feeling it at the moment. But I'll keep one because I've got that one. Whether he's level 4 or level 2, let's just get rid of the level 2 for now. Keep the level 4. Maybe we'll give the level 4 the one where I get to choose. But even then, I don't know if I can't remember what the basic ones are. Basic signature spells. Right, so let's get rid of that guy. We don't have him anymore. We've got rid of the giant. We don't need him. Okay, there's a good chance my level 4, if I need the points, I'll drop him down to a level 2. So we got War Boss on foot, we got the two guys on squigs. I might increase the size of his goblin unit because he started to lose, the organ gun was gunning him down basically, and there was a point where the trolls were about to charge an organ gun, but they rolled a 9 for their stupidity test, and he was down to leadership 8 because we'd lost a rank, and that really annoyed me. So we might increase the size of the unit. I've got like another 20 painted, so we might do that. Oh, I've got rid of them as well. They might come back. Snotlings, ace. I love the snotlings. Um, Trolls, yeah, I think I can do better with them. Squighoppers, amazing. Right, how many points are we on? 1017. Okay, so we've got too many points anyway. Um, so maybe we do get. Okay, let's get rid of this guy and turn him into a level 2. Where is he? Level 2. See what I get. Level 2, and let's give him the one where I can pick his spells, which is it the lodestone? Nope. Oh, maybe it's one of these. Which is the one? Arcane, Lore Familiar, there we go. Oh, so I need a little familiar model. That's cool. Choose the spells they know. Yeah, maybe that can be his little familiar. The little um, like thing that he's waving on the end. That makes sense. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's give him a Lore Familiar, and then I can choose the spells I want that are actually good. Um, cool. Yeah, let's do that. He can afford that. Lore Familiar. Boom. He says ticking it and failing. Great. So he's got a Lore Familiar. Yeah, that makes me feel better actually, because yeah, I just didn't want most of the spells. Okay, great. Yeah, I feel good about that. Okay, so Nibbler now has a Lore Familiar, which he waves on a stick. Um, okay, so I think it's do I get more hoppers or do I fill up the night goblins? I've got what, just under 40 points left. Not enough to get my archers back. But I've got snotlings instead now as like another core unit, so that's cool. Um, did I say just under 40 points? Okay, and these guys are 40 points each anyway, aren't they? I think. No, they're not. But I don't think I need. I think 3 was fine. 18, 18 wounds is a lot to get through. Um, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7, 7. No, let's buff this unit. So what do we need? If we add another row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 982, and then so I mean that's all right. That would be I don't know. Yeah, I felt like I had some more of those lying around. Yeah, they're in the case somewhere. But basically, let's pretend these guys are spearmen. That would put another file of spearmen there. And that leaves me with what, 16 points? So the question is, how many points are these guys? I don't know why that's blacked out. That's weird. Um, and that leaves me with 6 points left. 8, yeah, why not? Oh, I could give them spears. Wait, no, I can't because there's 8 of them. I can count. So if I put them down to 7 and gave them spears and light armor, we could do that. Wait, I couldn't count because clearly I could have done it with 8. I know. No, that's why. Okay. Um, so 7 with spears and light armor. Yeah, why not? Why not? Look at that impact hits. So good. They've got warband as well, which is useless, isn't it? Ah, no, they can go in open order. Oh, interesting. Okay, so here's something I don't know. When can you change? Can you change between the orders? I didn't realize they could go in open order. Interesting. Um, it's just skirmish is just so powerful. Um, so that's when the warband becomes useful, because they can go in open order. What kind of infantry? They're not infantry, are they? What are they? Where's their? Doesn't say on here. I'll have to have a look and see what the squig hoppers are. See whether they get 4 or 5 per rank. So that would be, what's that, 8? So we'd have another dude. But actually, I won't be using these anyway because I'm giving them spears and light armor. I will make up. So I bought this the Stormbringer magazine to get my squig hoppers. So I will crack this open and build some new plastic ones to go with this guy. Not that I don't like these, but I wanna build my new ones because my new ones are shiny. So I didn't give them an extra one actually, so there's still seven of them. Seven with cavalry spears. I mean, if I didn't have the cavalry spears, it's mainly the squigs that do the damage. Could I get an extra dude? Nope. I'd have to get rid of the light armor as well. I think the light armor is useful. Let's have the cavalry spears and the light armor, and then I can get another night goblin. Yeah, perfect. Okay, great. So 30 night goblins. Uh, so what have we got here? Um, so that's an additional dude. Here we go. Here's my additional dude with a very bent spear. Um, so we've got, let's see, Night Goblin Warboss, check. And his 30 guys, yep, that's the guy he displaces. And they've got boss, standard bearer, musician, they have netters, which they might not actually need the netters. Do I ditch the netters? No, it's got netters, fine. Um, so I did. So here's what happened. The netters I used against the Ironbreakers, um, but he had two Thanes in the unit who were strength 6. So the nets they lost their initiative. They're using great weapons. They were strength 6 because they had great weapons. Um, it's like no, they just lose one strength, don't they? And it went down to strength 5, and they just hacked me apart on twos anyway. So I don't know. It helped against the Ironbreakers, but they weren't getting many attacks. Um, yeah, maybe it's fine. I'll just leave the nets. But if I did get rid of the nets, I could have more other things, but that's fine. We don't need to get rid of the nets. I am wondering if I should bring the archers back just because they're part of his warband, just to be on theme. But I can't bother with that right now. Maybe they'll come back later. Okay, so we've got so the boss and the unit. Then we've got the dude with Walloper with his one-hit wonder. We got the guy with his cavalry spear. We've got Nibbler, the wizard now with his law familiar that he waves. We've got 3 snotling units. We've got the 2 trolls. Obviously, those guys have got the fanatics. 2, 4, 6, 7 hoppers, and the mangler squigs. Yes, in this box over here. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that as an army. That gives me something to focus on for the next phase. So that is next I need to build some snotlings. I'll build my new squig hoppers to go with those, and build the mangler squigs and get them painted up. So it's basically this section. I need to build my snotlings. I'll build those guys. I'll build him and get them all painted. So there we go. So that kind of gives you an idea of, and me, an idea of where we're heading over the next month or so. I don't know how long it take to do that lot. But yeah, that's pretty cool. What I'll probably do, I don't know. Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. I feel like I should paint like 10 squig hoppers together because I'll probably end up putting more squig hoppers in a unit. I don't know. I don't know. We'll worry about that when I come to it. So yeah, so that's what we'll do next. We'll do one of those units um, and uh, and go from there. Oh, I'm excited about that. I really enjoyed. Snotlings were excellent. Squig hoppers are ridiculous. Particularly having these 2 in the unit as well, just made them so powerful. The way random movement works is like it is ridiculous. These guys, we'll see how they do. Because what I found interesting. So let's look at the war boss. Here we go. The giant cave squig um, has 3 attacks. 3 attacks. Yep. At strength 5. Weapon skill 4. Wow, that's cool. Um, but yeah, it's the massive gob that has killing blow. There we go. Killing blow. So I guess does that mean the mangler squigs don't have massive gobs? Weird, but whatever. So yeah, giant cave squig, armored hide. That's good as well. Wait, the squig hates dwarves. That was unexpected. I didn't realize that. I don't think I rerolled that. D3 impact hits, so good. Loner. First, I thought loner meant that he couldn't join a unit of squig hoppers, but then I read the loner rule and it says loners cannot join a unit that doesn't have the special rule. So a loner can join a loner unit. So that just makes them awesome. So yeah, so good. Let's check the Mangler Squids again, just in case there's something. Do they have big gobs? So close order, hate. They've got hatred as well. Interesting. Immune to psychology. Immune to psychology, is that the one where they don't run away? They cannot flee as a charge reaction. They automatically pass panic, fear, panic, or terror tests. Um, yeah, great. They're not unbreakable though. Uh, yeah, but they just don't. They never get scared by anything. That's cool. So that means they're quite good. They're good to be lone guns wandering around on their own then. Because like these guys, the squig hoppers, or certainly this guy ran away when he got destroyed because he's only leadership 6. I'm assuming, yeah, him being on the what's it squig doesn't make him immune to psychology. That doesn't have immune to psychology, does it? No. So yeah, but these guys are D6 impact hits, very good. Splat is difficult, terrain becomes dangerous, large target, random attacks, random movement, spike ball and chains. -3 impact hits, AP -3, very good. Uh, Wait, they've got D6 impact hits and D3 stomp attack. That's great. And timber for when they fall out. Oh, very good. Yeah, so they look pretty cool. They've got heavy armor. Now that was unexpected. I did not realize they had heavy armor. I think they look pretty good. Um, yeah, and their random movement just make yeah, it's not random direction, random movement. So they're not like fanatics that are random direction. Yeah, I think they're going to do good. I think they're going to do good, but they don't have killing blow. Oh wait, colossal fangfield garb, killing blow. They've got killing blow. Okay, they do have killing blow. A colossal fangfield garb. I wonder what strength they are. Yeah, AP2, killing blow. Yeah, excellent. All right, amazing. These guys are awesome. Um, that's what we're doing. We'll build some snotlings, we'll build mango squigs, we'll build some squigs, and get it all painted up. There we go. Cool. All right. Well, that was a bit of a summary of how I found playing the game. First games, they were awesome. They were the first games I've ever played of Old World. They were excellent. I loved it. I love my night goblins. Squigs are amazing. Snotlings are amazing. That's why those are the next things I'm making. There we go. Hopefully that was an interesting little episode, and yeah, I'll uh, I'll let you know how we get on. I'll play some more games. I've got a few more games coming up this week, which is great. So I'll try and do some more kind of. I'll work out a format for doing like battle reports. I think I'll probably just stick with photos, but I'll be more prepared and I will take photos of like each of the turns and do a proper blow by blow playthrough maybe. I don't know. We'll probably keep it quite high level, take some interesting photos and talk through what's going on. Probably show deployments and what my opponents using in their armies. So it'll be a bit more prepared. But yeah, probably that kind of style rather than video, rather than recording the battles. But yeah, cool. There we are. All right. Thanks for watching. I can work out how to end the video. There we go. Got it.